Good morning. Just wanted to share something good. The SSA just came out with some more compassionate allowance impairments, disorders, diseases on their compassionate allowance list. So this is really good for these people. You're going to notice that these are things that most of us have not ever heard of. That's not uncommon because they don't get as much attention. And so to get them to a point where they are reviewed, these kind of conditions, to show that they are worthy of a compassionate allowance, which provides for that much quicker adjudication. Basically, a confirmed legitimate diagnosis is going to get these to a win really fast. You don't have to prove listing level so much, nor RFC, so which we have other videos on what those mean. So let me just go through them real fast. This came out yesterday, so I was really glad to see it. So some of these include, I think there's 12 of them, I think. So let's see. The first one is called 1p36 Deletion Syndrome. Then we have Anaplastic Ependymoma, and forgive me if I'm butchering it. And then there's Calciphylaxis. Then there's Cholangiocarcinoma. Then there's FOXG1 Syndrome. Then there is Leber Congenital Amaurosis. Metastatic Endometrial Adenocarcinoma. How am I doing? There is Paraneoplastic Cerebellar Degeneration. These are scary, right? They wouldn't be here if they weren't. Then there's Pineoblastoma, childhood. Then there is primary omental cancer. Then there is Sarcomatoid carcinoma of the lung, stages 2 through 4. So that would be stages 2, 3, and 4, not stage 1. And then Trisomy 9. So as they go on to say in their press release, and I will link that below, and I'll probably list these things so anyone searching for them might be able to find them. The Compassionate Allowance Program, for those of you who don't know, it identifies claims where the applicant's medical condition clearly meets the statutory standard of disability. And they're developed because of the kind of like the severe nature of these kind of conditions automatically, unlike a lot of other ones where we can go years and years and years with a condition and still have, the ability to work a full-time job. They actually go on to say, this is interesting, nearly 900,000 people with severe disabilities have prevailed on their claims by virtue of this compassionate allowance list. So is that a lot of people? Sure. It's probably not enough. The fact that we keep having more compassionate allowance announcements periodically is because these things have not been included, and those people weren't then able to use a compassionate allowance process to more quickly win their claims. So anyway, we're now up to 278 compassionate allowance conditions. So that's getting better. Let's see, anything else of interest here? It's kind of short. So they do reiterate that, of course, when you apply for disability and you put the name of a compassionate allowance that you have in your application, I believe they have, what do you want to call it? Artificial intelligence, or it's human eyeballs. But when they see that name, it automatically gets special treatment, so they can check it out. But they still have to order the records, because you can't just say you have it. It has to be diagnosed in your medical records. And generally, most diagnoses, there is a way to make a proper diagnosis. So it can't just be a doctor looking at you and saying, I think you have. Whatever the medically accepted method of diagnosis is that the SSA recognizes, that's going to be the standard. Let's see. They do talk about how they're incorporating leading technology to identify the potential compassionate allowance cases. I think sometimes people word things in a way that are not the way they're listed in the compassionate allowance list, but it is the same disorder. So I think they're designed to catch those. And it's to make everything speedier and more efficient, to allow people who should be prevailing without delay to better do so. Anyway, I will also, well, I'm going to post a list of this article, and I'll also post general compassionate allowance list page also. Okay. So anyway, that's good news. For anyone who doesn't have a compassionate allowance, we are very blessed to not have. For those that do, or have a loved one that does, you know, my heart is with you. It's not fair. And anyway, we do think about you a lot. So anyway, hang in there and be brave. Be well.